Welcome back to our special presentation of Thursday Night Football here on Channel 4. We are counting down to kickoff, which is now a little more than just an hour away. You know, in the 20 years since we've had this team here in Jacksonville, so many memories have been made, wonderful memories for fans and for players in that stadium behind us. But for one local family, there was a particular incident that happened outside the main gate that they frankly remember all too well.
It was a sticky situation. It certainly was. It all happened on a Wednesday afternoon, and it involved the icon that greets fans at the front of the stadium, at the front gate, the statue known as Touchdown. Rob Sweeting spoke with some of the heroes who helped rescue a 9-year-old boy from the jaws of that Jaguar.
Meet Touchdown. He's a giant Jaguar statue that's been guarding the west side of the stadium for 15 years. He's never missed a game, and he's never been injured. Except one time, 15 years ago, when old Touchdown needed some unexpected dental work. He's a fan favorite. Children love climbing on him and playing around with him, including, at the time, Andy Wilkinson. 15 years ago, the 9-year-old was horsing around on the statue. It was all fun and games until it was no longer fun and it was no longer a game. Little Andy got his head stuck in the Jaguar's mouth.
911, what is your emergency?
I remember it's probably the most unusual calls I've been to on the Jacksonville Fire Department in my 30-year career. It's not often you get a call to the stadium where somebody's trapped in the Jaguar.
Within minutes, Andy had begun to attract a crowd. It even got the attention of Jaguars team leaders inside the stadium.
Someone came in, interrupted the meeting, and said, "Oh my goodness, a young boy has his head stuck into Jacksonville, into Touchdown." I, being a mother, just couldn't sit there any longer, so I said, I've got to go.
By now, several fire units were on the scene trying to figure out what they were dealing with.
Where somebody's trapped or potentially hurt is make sure we cover the ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation. Once we figured out that everything was okay, we took a step back and said, well, how are we going to get him out?
So how do you get him out?
We grease him up, then we pull him out, and that was discarded because it was just too tight. We didn't have the room to work to get our hands to really grease him up. And then the decision came around to a smaller hacksaw to cut the tooth out. And that's ultimately what we settled on.
But that would damage the 2,800-pound statue, which was co-designed by the daughter of the Jaguars owners. But on this day, damage to Touchdown didn't matter.
This young boy was much more important than Touchdown's tooth because that could be repaired. But, you know, we don't know until this day how that head fit in there. Everything had to be just right. Just the way he did it had to be, because it could not come out.
Our main concern was, let's get the young man out. Then we'll worry about the statue later.
After about an hour since getting his head stuck in the statue, little Andy was finally freed, to the cheers of the crowd. A lot has changed since then. Andy Wilkinson is now 24 years old. He's an administrative assistant with a media company out in Los Angeles. Mrs. Weaver and her husband Wayne, they no longer own the Jaguars, but they still maintain an influential presence in our community. Many of the men who helped pull Andy from the Jaguar statue have long since retired from the fire department. But Greg Rulland, he's still on the job. He was a captain back then. Now he's a battalion chief. And Touchdown, he's still on the prowl, guarding the west side of the stadium with all his teeth.